Good day, everybody. Thank you very much for joining the broadcast today. I'm just going to wait for one or two more moments for people a chance to join us that are still logging in. So we'll begin in about 2 minutes. Good day once again, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this afternoon. You're here for the Genetec Advantage program presentation, and it's my pleasure to present it to you today. My name is Abby Jo Belanger. I've been with Genetec for about 2 years on the Advantage team, and I'm very happy to present to you today the benefits and features of our Advantage program. If you have any questions during the presentation, please feel free to type them in the question box. I will try to get to everybody as we go along. So without further ado, why don't we head on into our presentation this afternoon. If anybody is not able to view the PowerPoint presentation, please don't hesitate to go ahead, raise your hand, or send me a message. We'll start off with a few of our features and benefits in the Advantage program. We'll be looking today at our premium telephone support, the software upgrades, the system availability monitor, and we'll move into a few of our complementary benefits that are also included in the Advantage program. And those would include the technical consultation hours, Stratocast camera connections, the Genetec cloud archives. We'll also be looking at the newer complementary benefits, the Security Center mobile applications, the camera integrity monitor, and then we'll move back in to a little bit more of the support piece with the 24/7 support option, the Global Advantage contracts, federation licenses and how Advantage is applied to those, custom solutions, and there's a few more that are we'll be seeing further down on the presentation that are not listed here already. But why don't we go ahead and get started with the first on our list, which was our premium telephone support. So the premium telephone support is included with the Advantage program. When calling in, you would need a valid certification number. You can also get support through our chat services on the Genetec portal or GTAP. The premium telephone support, it provides customers with a premium collaborative support with advanced troubleshooting. And what we mean by that when we say premium collaborative support is that if your questions or if your requirements of more of a technical nature, or if perhaps the person that you're speaking with on the support side is not able to answer all of your questions, they will bring on a professional resource in order to help answer those questions in that one phone call, so that there's not a series of follow-ups or phone calls to be able to answer your questions. We'll try to tie it all up within that one call. You are able to open an unlimited number of cases, and those are all tracked through our GTAP portal. We do offer support in multiple languages, but those multiple languages, the main three would be French, English, and Spanish. We do offer the prioritized support request for faster response times with that telephone support. So as you can imagine, if you're calling in, it's a lot faster to get your answers, your request, your support by telephone rather than waiting for someone to get back to you. So that's our prioritized support. And if there's any hot fixes or patches that are required, we are able to provide those to you using that premium telephone support. So if there's any hot fix that's required, that person can go ahead and send that on over to you. Next on our list would be the software upgrades. So we do include both minor and major releases when you do have a valid Advantage contract. So those minor releases being the SR1, SR2, SR3, etc., within the version such as 5.8, 5.9, and the latest major release that we had was the version 5.9. So why do we say that software upgrades are so important, and why do we include them with that Advantage program? So we want to ensure that everyone that is subscribing to that Advantage program, that they are getting the latest software upgrades to ensure that performance improvements, they're getting the most out of those hardware investments. So we know that a lot of IT departments and a lot of organizations have a stretched budget. So whenever they make a hardware investment, they want to make sure that they're getting the most out of that investment, and we want to ensure that our software is helping them do that. Security improvements to make sure that those systems always stay compliant. We know that software security is always evolving, and so we want to make sure that compliancy is at the top there. It's our priority as well. Usability improvements. Want to ensure that the user is getting the most efficient and best possible experience out of the software. And there's third-party integrations to increase your security's ecosystem. Our system availability monitor is also included with a valid Advantage contract. So the system availability monitor, or SAM, is the system's health check. You can see on the right-hand side there is a small example of what that dashboard would look like. Basically, it's helping customers achieve complete visibility of the system's health and alerting them if there's any sort of potential risk or issue by allowing that operator to inspect raised alarms and take action before something really serious does come to life. The ability to remotely monitor the system with real-time statistics on system uptime and downtime is very helpful. And access to the Genetec's System Availability Monitor, or SAM, is through the GTAP portal. You can go onto the GTAP and be able to access that system's health check monitor. Moving into a bit of the complementary benefits, we'll start with the technical consultation hours. So this is one of those complementary benefits where customers could receive up to 40 complimentary technical consultation hours, and those are provided by our professional services team. So our professional services team, I did reach out to them just to confirm what exactly would constitute making an appointment with them to be able to take advantage of those complimentary consultation hours. They did get back to me with a lovely list of things that you would be able to reach out to them for in order to book that appointment and take advantage of this benefit. The amount of hours, by the way, is calculated based on the annual Advantage MSRP value, and that's calculated in US dollars. So when we say up to 40 hours, we would take the Advantage contract, the value of that, and be able to tell you exactly how many complementary hours that contract would be eligible to receive. You are also eligible, so you're also able to go onto the GTAP portal to see the eligible hours. And further on in the presentation, I'll show you exactly how to go, how to do that and where to go. So let's take a quick look at the list that the professional services team has provided to give you an idea of what you can book these technical consultation hours for. If you're looking for consulting on the system's health check, maybe best practices for the Genetec Security Center application, maybe you were installing the Genetec Security Center application and you need some sort of consulting, making sure that everything is set up correctly, they're the ones to reach out to. Also, if you're looking to transfer the Security Center application to a different or a new server, it would be a great idea to go ahead and consult them. As well, if the customer is planning on a Security Center upgrade, so for example, if they're upgrading from version 5.4 and they want to upgrade to the latest version 5.9, you definitely want to go ahead and reach out to that professional services team and book those consultation hours through the GTAP portal. It would definitely be helpful to make sure that all the ducks are in a row before we go ahead and do that upgrade. Maybe there's a migration happening from Omnicast to Security Center, and you need some help with planning on that. Synergist access control deployment, specific Genetec Security Center feature configurations. Definitely want to look into planning something with the professional service team with regards to that. And there could be an upgrade or a transfer for the Genetec SQL database. All of these things, and it's not exclusive to the list that you see here. If you ever wanted to find out exactly if what you're doing for your customer would apply for the technical consultation hours for an appointment with them, you can always reach out to the professional services team to go ahead and confirm if you are eligible to go ahead and book an appointment with that, if they're able to help you on that consulting and planning. Moving on to the next complementary benefit that is eligible to be received with the Advantage program would be the Stratacast camera connections. The Stratacast camera connections, most of you probably are already aware, it's recording video in the cloud. So it's trying to help eliminate the need for on-premise service, which would, help with budgets for IT departments for those servers that they no longer need to purchase if they are putting everything in the cloud. Stratacast is able of recording 24/7, and it's also recording in high resolution. So you're able to view your images in high resolution, displays multiple locations at the same time. So it's a great complementary benefit to have and to present to customers if they are looking to reduce their IT spend in hardware, on-premise hardware. Customers could receive up to 100 Stratacast standard camera connections complimentary. And the amount of complimentary Stratacast camera connections, again, based on the annual MSRP value of the Advantage contract in US dollars. These camera connections, just like the technical consultation hours, are eligible to be redeemed through the GTAP portal. And once again, I'll show you a little bit further on in the presentation where to go and how to go ahead and redeem those. Another one of our complimentary benefits that's eligible to be received with a valid Advantage contract would be the Genetec Cloud Archives. And customers can receive up to 100 terabytes complimentary of the Genetec Cloud Archives. Once again, just like the other two benefits, this is calculated based on the annual MSRP value of the Genetec Advantage contract calculated in US dollars. So just like the Stratacast camera connections, looking to access the cloud to be able to store and to view the cloud archives. We're looking at storing or maintaining the video recordings in the cloud. And you're probably wondering about the dollar value of the Advantage contract and exactly what it takes to be able to go ahead and see or have the complementary benefits. We have a table here for you so you can visualize what it is, the Advantage contract in MSRP annual dollars, and how it correlates to the amount of complementary benefits that a customer could receive. So we have here dollar values in the far left-hand columns and the amount of Stratocast camera connections, cloud archives in terabytes, as well as the technical consultation hours, how those correlate to the dollar value that you'll see. With regards to the technical consultation hours, if we take a look at the maybe the third from the bottom on the first table, we see that once a customer reaches that $180,000 threshold, they do cap off at 40 hours annually. And that's of the technical consultation hours. So if a customer comes to you and says, this is fantastic, love the Advantage, want to go ahead and actually purchase multi-years of the Advantage contract to be able to keep that and receive a deeper discount, because the more years you purchase with the Advantage, the deeper the discount you will get. So for example, if a customer decides to purchase 5 years worth of Advantage to go ahead and take benefit of the deeper discount they would receive for a 5-year contract, and their annual dollar value on that Advantage contract reaches that minimum threshold of $180,000, well, we would go ahead and take the 40 hours and multiply that by the amount of years of Advantage contract they're purchasing. So for example, if they're purchasing a 5-year contract, we would say 40 times 5, and they would end up with a total of 200 hours for the 5-year term of the contract. We don't recommend using all 200 hours within the first year. We do recommend, trying to spread it out over the term of their contract, just to ensure that they have enough hours to go ahead, and in case they decide within that 5-year term to go ahead and, perhaps, for example, make an upgrade on their software, then you have those hours available to you to go ahead and start planning or consulting with our professional services team to do those upgrades. We'll go ahead and take a look at one of the more recent benefits or complementary benefits that's been added to the Advantage program, and that's the Security Center mobile applications. So customers can receive up to an unlimited number of mobile app connections with a valid Advantage contract. But since this is more of a recent add, this would be concerning versions 5.8 or greater. So a customer would need to have a version 5.8 or 5.9 in order to receive the complimentary mobile applications. And the Security Center mobile apps, it's basically allowing those operators to be able to view their systems from their mobile apps. So, for example, from their cell phones, from their tablets, from their laptops. This is where they would be able to view their systems using their mobile devices. Just like the other complementary benefits, this again is based on the annual MSRP value of the Genetec Advantage contract in US dollars. But since this is more of a recent add to the Advantage program, you are not able to go ahead and redeem these through the GTAP portal. You would actually need to reach out to our customer service team. And in the bottom bullet, you'll see the email address for our customer service team is customerservice@genetec.com. Here's a quick table as a reference for you to be able to understand the dollar value of the Advantage contract, MSRP on an annual annual basis, calculated in US dollars, as it correlates to the amount of mobile application connections that a customer could receive. The camera integrity monitor is also one of the more recent adds to the Advantage program with regards to complementary benefits. And the camera integrity monitor, it notifies the operator when there's been any sort of camera tampering happening. So for example, if there's a decrease in image quality, if there's an abrupt shift or change in the camera position, the operator does receive an alert and therefore is able to act on that alert as required. So for example, if there is a camera that's been put up in an ATM vestibule and someone comes along and spray paints that camera, well, there's a decrease in image quality. Or if someone goes ahead and knocks that camera out of the original position that it was put in, then again, there is an alert that's being sent. Customers can receive up to 128 camera connections with versions 5.8 or higher of the Security Center because, again, like I mentioned, it is more of a recent add to the Advantage program. Once again, just like all of the other complementary benefits, the amount of connections is based upon the annual MSRP value of the Genetec Advantage contract in US dollars. And just like the mobile app connections, this particular benefit, you would also need to reach out to our customer service team in order to go ahead and redeem the amount of complimentary connections. I'll go ahead and show you here on the next slide a quick table of the dollar value and as it correlates to the amount of complimentary camera connections you would be eligible to receive. So we'll move away from the complementary benefits portion of the presentation, as those were the 5 that are included in the Advantage program. And we'll go ahead more into the support portion or support piece of the Advantage program. So the 24/7 support option is offered to those customers with a valid Advantage contract. You definitely need to have an Advantage contract in order to partake in the 24/7 support option. The fee is based per contract and not per system ID. So for example, if a customer has 4 or 5 system IDs under one contract, we are not saying your fee is based per system ID. So we're not charging you 4 and 5 times or per system ID. If everything is based in that one contract, there's a flat rate for that one particular contract for the 24/7 support option. It does not need to meet or match the current Advantage contract period, but we do ask that a minimum of a 3-month term is purchased. So if there's an emergency 24/7 support purchase that needs to be made, so if you're looking for support option and it's an emergency, perhaps you've got an install coming on the weekend and you're like, oh, I could really use that 24/7 support option over the weekend. I just have a feeling. Then go ahead and reach on out. We'll go ahead and activate that 24/7 support option, but there does need to be a written commitment to purchase that minimum of a 3-month term. Our global advantage contracts are for those customers that have multiple contracts for one particular end user. So if end user ABC has, 5, 6, 7 contracts out there, and they're all ending at different times, different dates, we want to go ahead and simplify that for both the partner and the end user by making one coterminous end date. So we'll bring all of those contracts into one contract, have a coterminous end date, which benefits both end user, partner, as well as all of the benefits that we just described, or the complementary benefits that we were talking about earlier. That increases the end user's ability to go ahead and share in that and take part in that. So, if you're increasing the MSRP value on an annual basis for that global contract because you've just amalgamated many of them, then we are saying that you would be able to go ahead and take part in those complementary benefits that we just mentioned because you're increasing the annual MSRP value. The 24/7 support fee, once again, it's based per contract. So if you've got those customers that have 5, 6, 7 different contracts, instead of paying 5, 6, 7 different times for that 24/7 support option, if we amalgamate them all into one contract, then you know what? We're only paying one fee rather than multiple fees. And there is something here mentioned about the federation systems. We'll go ahead and get into that in the next slide, as that is our federation slide. So Advantage on federation systems. So federation, what we're looking at when we say federation is we're looking to centralize all of the monitoring and reporting and alarm management across multiple security center systems into one head end. So for example, if you've got systems, perhaps you have one in Los Angeles, another in Boston, and for example, one down in Florida, and you want to centralize all of them into one head centrally located place. For example, if you're looking to centralize it in New York, we would call this federating all the systems into one head end. And the Advantage fee for the federation licenses is based on the number of federation licenses, unless there's other connections such as Omnicast or Synergis. So the federation system, if they've got more than 5 camera connections, then we waive the Advantage fee on those federation licenses. So if you've got, 5 federation licenses, but you've got 10 camera connections, well, you're no longer paying for those 5 federation licenses, the Advantage on those 5 federation licenses. You're simply paying Advantage for the cameras instead. And if all federated systems are on a global Advantage contract, then the Advantage fee on the federated licenses is waived, excluding the other connections like the Omnicast and Synergis, as we were just mentioning. Our custom solutions, presently, what we're doing for the Advantage on those is trying to align the Advantage for the custom solutions to match up to the core or contract for the Advantage. So right now, the custom solutions, the Advantage on those don't always match up to the core Advantage contract. And so we're trying to make things a little bit easier, just like the global contracts, trying to align everything to one end date so things are easier when we're looking at renewing the Advantage on that. So with regards to Advantage, we do like to send out renewal notices, and we like to send them out well in advance. So we start sending those renewal notices 90 days prior to the expiration date of the Advantage contract. And then we send a second renewal notice 30 days prior to the expiration of the Advantage contract. And a final renewal notice is sent on the actual date of expiration for that contract. We also send 2 more, if you will, notices. We call them follow-ups. So we like to make sure that we're touching all of our bases. So the fourth touch that we would do with regards to the contract and renewal advisory, if you will, is we like to send out a personalized email with all of the contracts that are expiring within that month, and saying, is there anything that you need from us? Is there any requirement? Is there any update or updated quote you would require in order to go ahead and bring in that renewal for the Advantage? We also send a fifth follow-up a couple months later, just in case something fell through the cracks. We want to be sure that we're covering all of our bases. There is a multi-year discount structure in place. So as mentioned before, when we were taking a look at the table for, the consultation hours and the Stratocast camera connections and the cloud archives, there is a multi-year discount. So if customers are looking at purchasing 2 to 5 years, we can see the discount structure on the right-hand side of the table. And the more years they purchase, the deeper the discount goes. The multi-year term is an upfront commitment on the entire amount. So if a customer, for example, is looking at purchasing, 3, 4, or 5 years, they're not able to spread the payments out over the term of the contract. It is an upfront commitment that we are looking for. So with all of the touches that we do, with all of the reminder notices that we send out, sometimes things do fall through the cracks, unfortunately. And so we do have a reinstatement fee structure in place with regards to that. But if you notice, even though there may be a reinstatement fee associated with an expired Advantage contract, on the far right-hand side of the table, you'll notice that there's always a waiver condition, and that waiver condition is always a multi-year contract. So, we love to, reach out, and we love to make sure that you're all up to date with everything. But again, sometimes customers just don't feel like renewing that year. And a year goes by and they say, oh, face palm or, forehead palm. I forgot, I really love that Advantage program. It was fantastic. We got all these benefits that went along with it. We want to go ahead and renew. Well, if the contract is already expired, there could be a reinstatement fee. But like I said before, there's always a way to go ahead and get that waived. And then again, multi-year is the best way to do that. So with regards to trying to find out what's past due, what might be coming up due. So, you've got something coming due, or the Advantage contract for a particular customer is coming up in 6 months' time, but you know that we only send out those reminder notices with the quotes 3 months in advance, and you want to see, exactly where you're standing with those customers that are 6 months out. You can go on to our GTAP portal, and there is a way to run a system list for yourself. You would go to the GTAP portal, select technical assistance, and when you see the drop-down menu appear, you would scroll on down to the system management. There'll be another menu that pops up, and you'll go ahead and run your mouse over the button that says Generate Systems Report until it turns red, and go ahead and click on that. This will run a system report for your organization with all the customers that are associated with your business. And it will show the start and end dates of the Advantage contracts. It'll provide you with the system ID, the contract number, a customer name, as well as the amount of cameras or readers perhaps that they have. It'll give you all of the information you're looking for. So for those customers that have had maybe something that expired 2 months ago and you weren't sure if it expired or if it's still valid, you'll be able to see that on the report. You'll be able to see things out, as far as you need to go, rather than always wondering, how can I figure this out? How can I find that out? Here's your solution right here. Go ahead and run yourself a report. As well, if you're wondering if those customers are eligible to receive complimentary benefits, such as the technical consultation hours, the Stratocast camera connections, or the cloud archives, you can come to the GTAP portal as well. You'll be able to go and run a report. You'll go to this almost the same place. You go up to the Genetec 3 bars. You'll hit technical assistance, and you'll have a drop-down menu, and you'll scroll down to the Genetec Advantage benefits. Once you select this, you'll be able to have a report in front of you that shows you the customer and the complimentary benefit that they would be eligible for. As well, from that site that you run, that report, you'll be able to see redeem for that complimentary benefit, what they're eligible for, and what they've already used. So this is the exact spot that you would be able to come to go ahead and take a look and say, hey, you know what? This person from this organization is eligible to receive 10 complimentary technical consultation hours. They could really use it right now. I'm going to go ahead and book from there. Or, you know what? This person's eligible to receive 5 Stratocast camera connections complimentary. It might be something that we can go ahead and get our foot in the door and say, hey, what else is there that you could possibly need? It's a great little tool to have. So that brings us to the conclusion of our presentation today. I hope you found it useful. I hope you found a lot of information in there that you can use. But again, if you have any questions or if you want to reach out, please don't hesitate. The Advantage inbox is always available to you, and you can email us at advantage@genetec.com. You can also send me any questions if you might have them right now. I'll be here for another a few minutes to answer your questions if you should have any. I don't see any questions popping up, but please don't forget that you can always email us if you think about something a little bit later on, advantage@genetec.com. As well, if you notice, I did put in a handout the Advantage brochure in case you should require that. That's also user friendly if you would like to send that out. No questions? Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. It was a pleasure presenting to you today, and I wish you a fantastic rest of your day.